Reason number 46 to get a Nissan. Features, especially the ones you get with the 2025 Nissan Kicks Play. Integrated Apple CarPlay, a spacious interior, advanced safety features, and more room in your budget. Because it's the most affordable new vehicle in Quebec. Get the 2025 Nissan Kicks Play S from only $22,774, including a $2,600 cash purchase bonus. Visit your Nissan dealer today. Until March 2nd, conditions apply. Details at Nissan.
Concerns are emerging over Quebec's new flood maps, and the province's real estate brokers are even warning that they could shake up the housing market and threaten homeowners' futures. Many now fear for their property values after being labeled at high risk for flooding. The proposed new maps would potentially impact over 77,000 properties. Let's find out a little bit more. We head over to Virginie Dufour, Liberal M&A for Mille-Îles, and the official opposition critic for the environment and the fight against climate change. Madame Dufour, welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Elias, and I'm glad to be back again.
What is your take on the new flood maps?
Well, I'm very concerned. I see a lot of distress in citizens I've been meeting, and we've been contacted for like the last few weeks by people that are really worried about the, what could this mean for their property value. For example, some they are afraid that they may lose their house at some point.
And do you feel that these new flood maps, was it necessary? Like, despite all the concerns, is this something that had to be done?
Well, first of all, we've seen in 2017 and then 2019 again the major floods that we had in the region of Montreal, in Gatineau as well. We've seen that flood risks is real, so we cannot ignore that. However, it's the way that the government is rushing right now to this. There were consultations all summer, but no maps were available. People were not aware, how this new regulation could affect them. And still, we only have seen the maps for the region of Montreal, because the rest of the province, they have no clue how the new regulation could affect them. And so, yes, it is necessary to review the maps, but, I'm worried the methodology is maybe, it could be flood. There could be something with the methodology. For example, there are people that contacted me that were not flooded in, 2017. And at some point, we reached the equivalent of a water level of 350 years. And the new map supposedly is going to 350 years, but those that were not flooded at the time now are included in the flooding maps. So there is something fishy here, and citizens have no way to ask for a revision of the map.
Let me ask you this, because we had Guy Pilon on the program, the mayor of Vaudreuil-Dorion, on the show, and we were talking about this subject, and one of the things he brought up is that there could be other things done, like dikes and dams and other infrastructure that could be put in place to protect these areas. What are your thoughts on that, as opposed to just changing flood maps?
I think he's right. I've been the city councilor for 8 years in Laval up till 2021, and I was in charge of all this, flooding issue, and so I've seen it, really like in front line. And we were thinking in Laval at the time that we could have put dikes that would have prevented new floods. However, it's complex because you have to see where the water will go. If you put a dike, then it will go somewhere else. So there are, you need to have a lot of studies, but definitely there are things that we can do to protect ourselves as, cities, but also as citizens. And right now, the new regulation would not allow people to protect themselves. for example, you could build a house that, you could have what we called in French, it's called une fondation hydrofuge. Mm-hmm. So it's a way that if, water comes in, your foundation won't be affected. But that won't be allowed with the new regulation. You won't be able to change your house to do that, to protect yourself. And so we think there's a lot of adjustment that should be done to this new regulation because people live there already. So, those houses will not disappear. So either we help them move away or we help them adapt. And get protected.
We're with Virginie Dufour, who's the Liberal MNA for Mille-Îles, the official opposition critic for the environment and the fight against climate change. We're talking about Quebec's new flood maps. Madame Dufour, where do you stand on development? Because it's not lost on me that a lot of these areas, people want to live there. They are building, Vaudreuil-Dorion, my goodness, it's like a booming area of Quebec. And I say to myself, well, if we want to build in these places, we're going to have to get used to homes being affected if people want to live there. Do you think we need to tap the brakes on development in a lot of places?
I've traveled a lot, and there are a lot of countries that, people live close to the water, and water comes in and then it comes out, and, they get used to it, and they have built in a way that, they live with the water, right? Mm-hmm. So I think it's feasible, but I do think that we have to stop developing new sectors, right, where they could be flooded. However, when, there's already a sector developed, for example, there are a lot of houses that were destroyed following the major floods of 2017 and 2019. And they were not replaced. And now we just have, a hole in the middle of a street with other houses. It makes no sense. So why can't we let people build there if their houses are protected against water?
Anything, Madame Dufour, that we haven't talked about that you wanted to make sure we discussed before I let you go?
Well, I want to put an emphasis on the fact that there is no way right now a citizen that think that the map is wrong. There's no way for that person to ask for a review of the map. And the Protecteur du Citoyen, the Citizen Rights Commission, has asked the minister to change that. And so we're making an emphasis on that. And that's why we have a petition actually that is going on. And I invite everyone that thinks that they could be affected to sign the petition on the National Assembly website.
That's okay. And that petition is on the National Assembly website. I'm looking at it right now. Okay, Madame Dufour, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Virginie Dufour. You too. That's Virginie Dufour, the Liberal MNA for Mille-Îles.